Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Healthy Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Bonnie Iris, and today we are going to talk about your greatest investment, and that is having a healthy mindset. Mindset is everything, and I've seen it play out in my daily life for the good and the bad. And today, I am beyond excited to introduce our guest. He went from money moron at age 22 to self-made millionaire in 13 years. He is so passionate about the positive mindset changes he has made in his life that now he helps others like you and me get out of debt faster, save more money, and retire rich. How awesome is that? Yes, so today we are welcoming financial rock star Scott Allen Turner. Hey Scott, and welcome to the Healthy Lifestyle Show. It's so wonderful to have you here today.
Thanks, Bonnie. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I have really been looking forward to our conversation today and to learn more about you. And I would really love to hear a bit about your rock star roller coaster lifestyle.
Yeah, certainly. I call myself the original money moron. I didn't get a lot of financial education coming out of college, like most people don't. Got into a lot of debt early on. Student loans, credit cards, car loans, and awesome stuff that you shouldn't necessarily buy on a credit card, but I did anyways.
You got to learn one way, right?
Yes, learn through your mistakes.
Yeah.
Progressed there to even more car loans, more house than I should have purchased, and was living the paycheck to paycheck kind of broke lifestyle, even on a pretty decent income.
Wow.
Got my financial awakening around age 25, completed a 180 in my life. Started shedding the debts, unloading the car payment, bought a used truck for $6,500.
Yeah.
Started really living life and sleeping better at night. That was my turning point.
So what was that, like that switch moment that was like, whoa, okay, I need to really switch up my game plan, my lifestyle to, kind of come up on the mountain and see my life,
For me, it was driving my 45-minute commute each day to work. And I lived in Atlanta at the time. Saw this billboard for this guy named Clark Howard. He was an Atlanta radio personality, and he had a personal finance show. He was a consumer advocate. And I thought one day I'll turn on the AM radio, listen to him, and started learning about money at that point and the proper way to handle it. Saving, beginning investing, trimming your costs, budgeting, all that stuff. And got home at some point after listening to for a while and realized, I've got this huge mortgage. I'm a single guy. I don't have any money in the bank. I've got an expensive car. This is not good.
Yeah.
So that was my rude awakening that something could go seriously wrong here. I need to make some drastic changes.
Yeah. So what was kind of your first steps into, making those healthy mindset switches? I'm sure it wasn't as simple as we'd all wish it could be.
There are some simple things that can be done. For me, it was getting rid of the car. That was, and it's hard.
Well,
we love cars. They're an extension of ourselves. I had an awesome sports car, and for me to switch gears and say, I'm going to drive a piece of junk, which I'm going to pay cash for it, and this is going to be my life for a while. Yeah. And that really helped me out. And it's definitely hard making that decision, but from there, when you don't have a $300 or $400 or $500 or $600 car payment each month, or if you're in a family, that can be up to $1,000 if you get 3 vehicles. That's a lot of money, and that makes a big difference in your lives. So from a mindset standpoint, you go from living paycheck to paycheck, not having any money, being constantly worried about something bad could happen, something could go wrong, and then you've got all this extra money, and you start saving it. Your accounts start building up. It's like, wow, this is great.
Yeah. The key is to not touch the money, right? After you've kind of made that decision. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to have a plan.
Yeah, the plan. So you had like a 5-year plan almost to just kind of set your goals. This is when I kind of want to be debt-free and living my life.
My plan was more about, I didn't like paying interest on my mortgage, and I also recognize having an emergency fund, learning about that, having 3 to 6 months money set aside in case you lose your job, you have a health issue, you can't work. I was single at the time, so I
Mhm.
used the sale of that car, the savings from the car payment to build up a 6-month emergency fund in case something did happen.
Yeah. And that's something a lot of people don't really think of, right? They kind of just like emergency, like you don't really think of you're going to have an emergency because it's kind of like something you can't predict, right?
Right, and a lot of people will use the fallback of, well, I've got credit cards in case of an emergency, or I got a home equity line of credit in case of emergency, or we have 2 incomes in case of emergency. So there's all these things which may or may not be available in the worst possible time that you want to tap them. For example,
Mhm.
2008, 2009, when the housing market collapsed, a lot of home equity lines of credit were pulled and canceled. So people who
Yeah.
relied on those to pay the bills were kind of in a bad place.
Mhm. Yeah, that's scary. But yeah, you gotta have those backup funds. So actually, it's funny. I remember as one of my teachers in college, he said he paid off his mortgage 10 years early or something with just pocket change. Like every day, he would take the money that he like change in his pocket and from the end of the day and just put it in a jar. And then he'd get his grandkids to count it up. And then like he just put all that money from change from leftover for the day. Like, man, he must have spent a lot of like he must have used a lot of cash. Now we kind of use cards, I guess. So it wouldn't be as easy. But yeah, I was just really surprised at like just simple methods as putting your change away into like a little savings jar is a good way to save some extra coin as well.
Now, I did not listen to the advice from my college professor. I'll tell you that story in a minute. Did you listen to the advice from yours?
I did actually. I ended up saving quite a lot of money because I was working in the restaurant industry. So like when you have coins, it's a lot of well, especially from Canada, so coins, being loonies and toonies, that adds up quite a lot. Hmm.
So my college professor, his name was Dr. Machado. I had a computer science degree that I was going for. I think it was either my junior or senior year, and we were just talking out in the common area of the office of the computer center. And he said, he was giving me life advice. He said, save 10% of your money. You should give away 10% of your money and then live off the rest or whatever percentages they were.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of laughed at him. I was like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to save 10% of my money. I'm going to wait till I hit age 40 and I'll just save 20% of it. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. They don't understand how compound interest works. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
charts out there showing if you started saving $1,000 from age 15 to 20, you'd have 10 times more money than somebody starts at age 40 saving
Hmm.
whatever the dollar amounts are.
Yeah, totally. And it's sometimes like numbers and banking and investment is so confusing for some people. Like, well, not maybe confusing, but it's just a lot to deal with. They're just like, I'm fine with it just being in my savings account, not getting any additional interest. And it's like, should be saved, like putting in some type of investments, like I don't know, mutual fund, or I'm not too aware myself of many investments, but
And
it's
that has a
good.
lot to do with fear and the
Yeah.
mindset of money. A lot of people saw a lot of families and friends lose their retirements during
Mm-hmm.
2009 when the market tanked. And if you went through that, that fear may still exist today. You decide, no, I don't want to lose my money. But
Mm-hmm.
it's been proven over the years and decades of the stock market, if you save consistently each month, a little bit each month over time, you will come out ahead over the long run, even though the stock market's swinging up and swinging down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So how has your mindset changed maybe so for when you didn't have much money to now? Like do you notice like a big mindset shift? Just
I
how you
think,
think about money, I guess?
yeah, I think even just in the past few years, I'm coming up on 12 years of marriage, and then my kids are age 3.5. I have twins.
I'm a twin as well.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And probably over the past few years since having kids, I've recognized that money is great. It's a tool, but it doesn't add a significant amount of joy or happiness to my life or to my marriage. When I look back on when we
Yeah.
first getting married, my wife and I lived in her townhouse. It was very small. we found out later on after we had moved, we ran into the UPS man one day when we were in a rental house, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys moved. Hey, did you know, by the way, that the area right behind your townhouse, they were commonly referred to that as a crack town?" I was like, "No, we did not."
Wow.
So it wasn't a terrible area, but I did have to call the police on my neighbors one time, and then another time I realized there's all these breaking and entering going on in the neighborhood. But what we realized is, hey, no matter the situation that we're in, we can find happiness, whether it's a small townhouse, the rental house we're in, or the very beautiful home that we're in now. No matter how much is in the bank account, we've got our health, we've got a good marriage, we've got healthy kids, and these are the things we're thankful for. We can always make more money.
Yeah. And like you said, money is just a tool. And I think a lot of people kind of base their success, or they think that they're successful or they're happy when they have more money. But in reality, once they kind of get to that goal, or if they reach that, then they realize, wow, I thought this would make me happy. And then they still feel empty inside.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've learned is your self-worth is not tied to your net worth. Then there's been studies done. The magic number is, for some reason, $75,000 in income a year. And when you get to that point, your happiness is like a hockey stick. It goes up quite a bit till you hit that. But then after that, no matter how much more you make, it evens out. It doesn't go up exponentially as your income might. And that's part of having enough stuff, being content, finding joy in life itself rather than in buying stuff. And I love stuff. I love buying stuff.
Gotta love stuff.
And it brings quick pleasures, quick joy, and then it kind of subsides. Buy a new car, new pair of shoes. They're great for the first couple weeks, but then they're just shoes.
Yeah. And you kind of lose it. It's like the excitement. It's buying things or getting something new, right? Kind of people fill their void with stuff like that.
And that's a trap that I've fallen into plenty of times in my life, and I've recognized, certainly recently, it's a continuing thing that you have to pay attention to, falling back into that trap.
And especially if you are kind of in the area of where you want to save money, it's like, okay, I'm going, like, do I really need a new pair of shoes? Like, I have a pair of runners, they work. Okay, maybe not, but like people get like, oh, but I do need them,
And that's certainly, for most people, they try to buy everything and spend all their money living paycheck by paycheck, constantly being broke. And I found that when you focus on just the few or many things that are important to you, for me, I'm a musician, so I spend money on electronics and guitars. I don't spend as much money on clothes because I work from home a lot. I don't generally care how I'm wearing cargo shorts most of the time and t-shirts. So they're less important to me, so I can take money from things that aren't important, divert them to things that are important, and save the difference.
Exactly. That's a smart way so that you can, create that extra room for money, right? And spend it on things that you value.
Yeah, and also that's one of the key points to building wealth. When you have a plan, you have a budget, you track your spending, you can recognize these things that are consuming a lot of money and look at, do I really value this? Some people are spending $100 a month, or rather $100 a week on pizza. Which $400 or $500 a month. Is pizza really that important to you? And maybe some people it is. It's like, yeah, I love spending $400 or $500 a month on pizza. And for other people, it's like, holy cow, I don't realize they're spending $400 or $500 a month on pizza. Maybe we'll just spend a couple hundred and take the other $300 and do something else with it.
Yeah, I think that'd be like a really good thing to do. Just like, I don't typically look through my expenses, but just to kind of see the patterns of what I spend my money on and realize what is kind of like a wasted money or something that's not really benefiting my life, so to speak.
Yeah, and for me, I've been tracking my expenses for a little over 15 years. Starting out, I didn't know anything about budgeting or having a spending plan. I just used a program and entered in the stuff I charged to my credit card or my debit card or wrote a check for. And that allowed me to see the patterns and make adjustments as necessary as I saw where the money was going.
Yeah. So do you have any tips for people that would be starting out on this, or do you know of any like good maybe applicate, like everyone loves a good app or something or that can help people track?
Yeah, the simplest one is called mint.com, and that's free.
Mm-hmm.
That'll tie into your bank accounts, your credit card accounts. It pulls in all your transactions. It's secure. Some people worry about this. So they're going to steal my money? No, it's just
Yeah.
read only. You log in, and then you can categorize stuff. For example, here's how much we spend on groceries. Here's how much we spent on entertainment. Holy cow, we spent $200 last month on gifts for other people.
Yeah. So it really breaks it down into what you are spending. Like you can even see how much gas you're spending maybe and whatnot. I think I actually had that app for a while, but I moved out of the country. So, but yeah, I thought it was good because you can track that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's certainly not the perfect app or program, but it is free. It's a good way to get going. The budgeting portion of it is kind of abysmal, but it's a great way to start, and you can't be free.
Yeah, just to kind of be aware of what you're kind of putting your money into and then kind of maybe take a few extra action steps. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that awareness, really looking down at, oh, here's where my money that month, and recognizing, all right, maybe we're spending a little too much on groceries.
Yeah.
Just being more self-aware, where is the money going? That can correct or enhance good habits, correct bad habits, and lead you towards greater wealth over the long haul.
Yeah. And like you said, like if you are spending too much on groceries, like there's so much like kind of like processed food out there that people are buying these days that aren't necessarily benefiting their health much. And you can kind of take that stuff out of your diet and supplement it with, fresh fruit or fresh produce and stuff like that too, to help save money, or go to the farmer's market as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When our kids were first born and they get out of the formula stage, they were getting into the foods, the mush stage of eating food. My wife cooked a lot, and she would generally cook food for her and I. Then she'd take extra, throw it in a blender with some milk or water, and that would end up being the baby food. She probably saved us at least $2,000 over the first couple of years and we did have twins, but it was the same food that we were eating. It was just mushy, and it was a lot cheaper than the jarred food that they have in the store.
Because I can imagine that being expensive, just adding up all the baby food and formula and stuff. They just kind of, they can market it more because they just say put the word baby in front of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You get a jar of bananas versus what does a banana cost? Like 5 cents?
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, totally. So do you have any like morning routines that you like to stick to that kind of help start your day? I know like Tony Robbins jumps in a ice cold bath in the morning, so maybe not quite as intense as that, but do you have anything that you kind of like always do to kind of jumpstart your day?
I don't think I've ever jumped in an ice cold bowl of water at any time.
No?
For me, the first thing I do, I wake up at 5:45 every day. I got 2 alarms. I've got 2 vibrating watches just to make sure I do get up. On a rare occasion, I will blow through both of them, but that's a rarity. And then I'm either on the treadmill, depending on the weather, or I'm out the front door and walking or running for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. The movement really kind of creates more oxygen in your brain, so you can have a good mindset for the day, more adrenaline and motivation kind of pumping through your veins.
That, and according to my trainer, or multiple trainers who I've worked with over the years, it's a huge fat burner because you get out, you don't have any food in your stomach, there's nothing to process. You go out, and I generally walk more than I run.
Yeah.
But doing that for 45, 50 minutes, it just burns fat.
Well, and just being outside, it's so great just to be out in the fresh air, breathing in the fresh air and getting that into your system too, opposed to like even going to a gym. It's like a whole different kind of experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. And then you get to recognize the beauty of your surroundings. I gave you an example. First thing I Went out the house this morning, was heading up the street, and there was this family of ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Man and woman, about 6 little baby ducks walking up the street. So
Aw.
I paused, took a picture, posted it to Instagram, and then I started my run.
Wow. See, that's so nice. I mean, I live pretty close to a park as well. So I actually can bike to work. It takes me 15 minutes to bike to work, which is awesome. I just go straight to the Fish Creek Park. Otherwise, if I drive, it takes me 12 minutes. And well, I have to drive around the park, so that's why it takes almost the same amount of time. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's very therapeutic. And for me, it's a good, I call it thinking time. I
Yeah.
come up with a lot of great business ideas when I'm running or walking. I ran a marathon one time, so that was a lot of training. And I remember running for hours at a time, and I would think about business stuff. As an entrepreneur, I've had a number of businesses, so thinking about ideas or things to do, or relationships or plans. There's all kinds of stuff that goes through your head when it's quiet out.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens to me a lot when I'm meditating. Just like, duh. You're trying to sometimes get rid of some thoughts, but then that's when the good ones come in. It's like, oh yeah, I can totally, that idea is great, to have those moments of serenity or, quietness to bring in the wisdom from the universe.
Yeah, there's a lot of points of clarity that you can get in our busy lives when we're checking the phone and the social
Mm-hmm.
media or at work, finding those 5 or 10 minutes to sit down, think, and reflect. And what do I need to improve on? What was good about today?
Yeah.
What other things can I think about?
So what now that you've like got yourself out of debt and you're, self-made millionaire, what kind of motivated you to, reach out and start helping and motivating other people to, financial freedom and living their life on their journey kind of?
Yeah, and you said it right there. It's helping other people. I was from a background of being self-centered, very greedy, all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a lot of friends. And then a number of years ago, I flipped that around. It's like, all right, I'm going to go out and volunteer, help other people, try to be more outwardly focused instead of inwardly focused. I'm going to be a giver instead of a getter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still struggle occasionally now, but I've changed career paths. I used to be an IT computer programmer. I call
Yeah.
it living in the cave behind a computer. It's like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I could go start another software company, but I wouldn't impact people like I could if I go out and I'm going to host a show. I'm going to answer people's questions about money. I'm going to help people not make the stupid mistakes that I used to make. And it's so much more rewarding helping people and giving back the knowledge that I've accumulated that's kind of priceless.
Yeah, and it's awesome because like once you love what you're doing, the world kind of notices that wow, this guy's authentic and he really loves helping people and he's good with finance, like, so people will actually listen to you opposed to somebody who did finance in school because their parents were financial advisors, so it kind of like, oh, I guess I'll do that too.
Yeah, I was blessed to be given the opportunity. A couple of years ago, my wife and I sold one of our businesses. It's like, oh, I can sit on the beach for the rest of my life. I can go start another company doing this. My robot lawnmower idea wasn't going to pan out because I'm not an MIT graduate. I thought I was brilliant, but it just
Yeah.
wasn't going to work. So I could go do personal finance because I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of knowledge and I knew it was going to be rewarding and the opportunity was there. And I even took the stance like, I'm not going to endorse or sell any particular financial products. I don't have any conflict of interest. I just want to give good advice and see where that takes me. And thus far, it's been amazing.
Yeah, and I don't remember who told me this, but like give away your best work for free when you're starting, and everything will line up as you come, like the law of attraction, right? You give, and things will keep flowing into your line of sight just how they may, right?
Yeah, I believe it's one of the famous motivational speakers, either Zig Ziglar or Jim
Mm-hmm.
Rohn. They said, if you give enough people what they want or help enough people get what they want, then you will eventually get what you want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's awesome to hear so passionate about what you do, and, sharing that with the world and with our viewers as well. It's so awesome that you can share that. Because you also have a book, right? 99-Minute Millionaire?
I do, and I'll give you a link at the end of our chat here where people can get that audiobook for free. One of the top questions I got when I first started getting in this business is people would ask, how do I get started investing?
Yeah.
Because it's made out to be super confusing. There's a lot of terms people use, fancy terms that people toss around. It's intended to be confusing because that's how people on Wall Street and other people make a lot of money at it. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I challenged myself. I'm going to make the simplest book ever on getting started investing. I'm going to take somebody who doesn't even know why you should save money, teach them about compound interest, what's a stock, what's a bond, and in 99 minutes or less, that's where the title comes from, I'm going
Yeah.
to turn that person into an investor, and they're going to be able to explain it to anybody they want. I use probably 100 different food analogies in the book.
Awesome. That's
They're not
good.
they're not all healthy food. There's a lot of pizza and donuts in there, but they're easy to understand.
Yeah. Well, that's good because people learn easily when they can reflect it and kind of put it in a view that is similar to, something that they like.
Yeah, since your show is a lot about shopping and food, this book would be really understandable because there's a lot of grocery carts and vegetables and buffets.
Yeah. Pizza. No, just kidding. Chocolate cake. Yeah, that's good. I will definitely share that. I didn't know it was an audiobook. That's awesome for all those people that, have a commute to work or whatever. They just can throw it on in their car or wherever.
Yeah, there's a printed book, and I decided I'm going to give away the audiobook for free because I wanted to get it in as many people's hands as possible, or
Hmm.
ears rather.
Yeah, I guess so. Straight into the brain. That's good. Awesome. So, yeah, is there maybe something like you could leave our listeners with, like something that kind of really changed your life or really helped impact you towards saving and creating this financial freedom?
For me, it was a lot about behavior, recognizing I was wasting a lot of money in my life on things that like interest on cars, interest on student loans, and curbing those expenditures and that lost money and diverting that into savings helped grow to where I have this financial independence today. And I'm an early retiree and I get to, quote
Yeah.
unquote, I work because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's nothing special about me or anything that I've done. It's a path that hundreds of thousands of other people have done as well. My biggest encouragement to people is just to start. You just gotta start, and you're gonna fail
Yeah.
because everybody fails,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's part of the learning process. That's just getting an education.
Hmm. Because a lot of people live in fear. They're, like, oh, I can't do this, like it's like a huge hurdle, right? To kind of jump over that big obstacle. And, if you do have a lot of debt, it's like you kind of just see it as a huge number and you're just like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. You just got to start. Everything for everybody was new and impossible at one time. And I
Hmm.
recognize that more since I've got my twins now, watching them crawl for the first time and walk for
Oh.
the first time. And they use a fork for the 400th time. They're still not using it right. But, they start
Oh.
and they get better at it and they get better at it. And then someday they'll be productive members of society.
It's so true. And like it moves kind of like like a bit of like a roller coaster, like or cycles, you start at the bottom and you go up and you have a peak and then you kind of go down a little bit and then go back up and have a higher peak and your new lows are your old highs. So it's just keep on keeping on because it's just gonna keep getting better and better, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of switchbacks on the mountain that you got to climb up, but the most important thing is just to keep on going and knowing that, yeah, you'll eventually get to the top if you choose to try to get there.
Hmm. Yeah. Set your visions, right? And well, actually, what a quote from Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, create your highest, grandest vision for yourself because you become what you believe, right? So having those visions, you can start, working towards step by step and creating like small goals so you can achieve your bigger goals.
Absolutely. If you believe it, then you become it. And I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah. Start straight from your thoughts into your actions. I love it. Wonderful. Well, I think we've covered quite a lot today, and I think such great info that you've shared with our viewers this afternoon as well. I'm so grateful that you could join us today on the show as well.
It's been my pleasure. And I want to give out that link so everybody can get that book for free. It's Scott Alan, ALAN Turner, TURNER.com/healthy, and you'll be able to download that audiobook for free.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Scott. And I will share the link on our blog post as well so that they can find it super easy.
Thanks, Bonnie. It's been a great time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Healthy Lifestyle Show, and you can learn more about us at healthylifestylepodcast.com. And to plan your healthy meals, don't forget to visit healthylifestylemeals.com. We'll see you next week.